What's up, guys? Welcome back to Crime Time with Jess. So, I've missed the entire day of the Daybell trial. I got busy and I couldn't catch up. So, later tonight, I'm probably not going to go to sleep and I'm going to be sitting through 6 hours of the Daybell trial, however long it was today. But for now, I'm going to have some little Moscato. If you guys want to join me, feel free because Suzanne Morphew's autopsy results are back in, and it doesn't look good for Mr. Barry Morphew. So let's get into it. Suzanne Morphew died by homicide with cocktail of animal tranquilizers in her system, coroner rules. It says Monday's revelation of the results of the 49-year-old's autopsy comes 2 years after prosecutors dropped the murder charges they filed against her husband, Barry Morphew, before the victim's body had been found. No one is currently charged in the 2020 homicide. Okay. CBI announced today the manner of Suzanne Morphew's death was by homicide by undetermined means in the setting of butorphanol, azapuron, and metatomine. Let me try that again. Medotamodine. I'm sorry, they're really long words, but these are medications, okay? All three drugs can be used in veterinary medicine, while two also have human applications. They can be combined into what's known as a BAM formulation used to tranquilize wildlife. What do we know about Barry Morphew, guys? Anyone? He was a big game hunter. He was a hunter. He liked hunting big game. I don't know how else to say that. Does anyone remember the car full of antlers that Barry had? These medications that were found in Suzanne Morphew are used to tranquilize wildlife. Okay. It says butorphanol is a synthetic opioid nasal spray used to manage severe pain, including for the treatment of migraines, according to the National Institute of Health. It can also be used to sedate dogs. Azapuron is a tranquilizer in veterinary medicine and is used by wildlife resource officers to sedate large animals and often on pigs. On rare occasions, it's prescribed to humans as an antipsychotic medication. That's interesting. And this one is very hard for me to pronounce, so bear with me. Metatominol. That is not how you say it. Medotomine. Okay. Is also used by veterinarians to sedate dogs and cats. During a search of the Morphew's home after Suzanne's 2020 disappearance, law enforcement officials reported finding a dart gun, empty darts, and a needle used to inject tranquilizer chemicals into the darts. They also found a cap used to cover the injecting needle in the clothes dryer at the house, along with bed sheets and clothes. Not looking good for Barry, okay? Barry Morphew told investigators he used the dart gun to tranquilize deer so that he could harvest their antlers. Again, remember the car? I don't know if you guys have ever seen this picture. I have been searching for it high and low because this information just came out probably 4 or 5 hours ago. So I've been searching all over Google trying to find that picture of Barry's car where it's just stuffed full of deer antlers, the whole entire car. They're like coming out of the car. So it says on Monday today, Iris Eaton, one of Barry Morphew's defense attorneys, said the dart gun was broken and locked in a gun cabinet when investigators found it. Oh, I'm about to drink this and it's got the lid on. Investigators need to focus on the people who have access to those drugs. This is what Barry's defense attorney is saying, that they need to focus on veterinarians and wildlife officers and ranchers. Not Barry. Not Barry, who's a big game hunter. Not Barry, who they found darts in the dryer with bed sheets. Not him. You need to look into the vets around that area. This is his defense attorneys. They said rather than looking into her clients, all three are controlled substances and must be prescribed by specialized veterinarians. Well, do you think this is going to be too hard to figure out where Barry got these drugs? Because I don't think it is. She said, my hope is investigators are tracking down veterinarian records. Oh, mine too. Mine too. So Barry did release a statement. And we're going to read his little statement that he wanted to put out today. I'm trying to find his statement. I apologize. On Monday, Barry Morphew's attorneys again criticized the investigators. Iris Eaton said they offered to return Suzanne Morphew's remains to her family for cremation or burial, but the family declined because they want to preserve any evidence that would help solve the crime. Good job, Mormons. Suzanne's family's last name is Mormon. For the past 4 years, the Morphews have agonized over Suzanne's disappearance. Barry Morphew's lawyer said in a statement, this included not only the pain of the loss of their wife and mother, but also the false accusations and prosecution of Barry Morphew. The Morphews have prayed the authorities would remove their blinders. Oh, really? And not only find Suzanne, but find the suspect responsible for her disappearance and murder. However, the Morphews are left with more questions than answers and a lack of justice for Suzanne, the family, and the community. Well, I don't think that lack of justice is going to last too long, because we're going to need Barry Morphew on that stand explaining that dart that was found in his dryer and how his wife died of a cocktail of wildlife tranquilizer drugs. I don't think she did this to herself, guys. I don't think it was the veterinarians in the area that Barry Morphew's lawyer wants the investigators to look into. I don't think anyone had motive to kill Suzanne Morphew except her husband. So it says Barry Morphew maintains he left his wife asleep in bed on the morning she disappeared and has argued she was abducted or ran away. Well, we know that's not true. The couple's marriage was deeply in trouble before Suzanne Morphew disappeared. She spoke to a close friend about divorce and says she did not feel safe alone with her husband. Prosecutors said Barry Morphew's behavior on the day his wife disappeared was suspicious. He visited 5 different dumpsters and trash cans around Broomfield and deposited items. He later said he couldn't remember what he'd thrown away. No, I don't think he wants to remember that he threw his wife away like garbage. But Lady Justice is not going to forget. Morphew also had scratches on his arm that appeared to be from fingernails, and the doors of his truck opened and closed around 3:30 a.m. on May 10, 2020. He did not report his wife missing. Morphew's defense attorneys focused on the male DNA found on the glove box of Suzanne Morphew's car that corresponded with partial DNA profiles found in 3 unsolved sexual assaults in different states. It's a partial. They pointed out that dogs trained to smell decomposing bodies did not alert to such evidence in Barry Morphew's truck. Well, if he shot her with a tranq dart, she wouldn't have been dead. She just would not be awake. So if he shot her with a tranq dart, put her in his truck, I hate to say this. What if he buried her alive? What if who knows? But just because those dogs checked his truck, it doesn't mean that she wasn't not in the truck. She could have just not been dead and decomposing for them to smell that. She could have very much been alive, but completely out of it because she was shot with a cocktail of wildlife medication. Prosecutors never have said exactly. Hi, Jess. Prosecutors never have said exactly how they believed Suzanne Morphew died. Investigators did not find her blood in their house or in Barry Morphew's truck. Prosecutors focused on the tranquilizer gun and empty darts found in the home, but never explicitly claimed that was how Suzanne was killed. I feel like that question has been answered with her autopsy. I mean, literally a cocktail of animal tranquilizers. And I Googled just to see if any of these drugs on their own could be used for, like depression or something of that nature. And one of them, like it said, one of them can be used as like an antipsychotic drug. But there's I think it's the butorphanol that is just for animals. It's not for human use. So I do want to read to you exactly what Barry Morphew said because we didn't really get to that. He put out a statement. Well, no, he put out the statement through his lawyer. So, yeah, he's not speaking on his own. So it says tranquilizers were commonly used by wildlife officials, but absolutely never heard of hunters using it. Well, that's interesting. Let's go back. Let's go back a second. Rewind. So this is Barry's lawyer. It says the assertion that tranquilizer drugs are used in hunting was challenged by 33-year-old wildlife officer Renzo Del Piccolo, who is retired from Colorado Parks and Wildlife. He told CPR News that he never once encountered a hunter using tranquilizer darts. Tranquilizers were commonly used by wildlife officials, but absolutely never heard of hunters using it, said Del Pico, who retired in 2020. He said the use of I can't talk. What up, Jim? He said the use of tranquilizers for hunting is illegal. Well, so is murder, but that didn't really stop Barry, in my opinion, right? He said you certainly could kill the animal, harassing the animal. You run risk to yourself because tranquilizers are very dangerous to people. And that's why it's important to be trained in the use of them. Again, he had the dart gun. Explain that. Explain that. You cannot. If any of you are like me, I was really disheartened when I saw the state drop the charges against him. But I felt like, you know what? If this woman is ever found, the charge is going to be brought back. Well, she's been found, and the autopsy is back now. She died, from a cocktail of animal tranquilizers. I'm hoping and praying that the state is going to bring these charges back on Barry Morphew. And I hope he ends up behind bars where he belongs. And that's my opinion. Okay. What, Jim? Jim is saying, hey, Jess, do you know that Brooklyn Rounds is married? I told you. No, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I was wondering where you were the day that Dylan was found. I was told you were on Rumble, which I don't know what the hell Rumble is, but it was described to me as a poor man's YouTube. So, are you having success over there, or what's going on? And but don't get me sidetracked, Jim. Okay, you know my phone number; it has not changed. You can call me. But anyway, back to Miss Morphew. Back to Miss Morphew. There's one other thing I wanted to read. And can we just talk about her children? I find it very, very sad. Suzanne Morphew's kids, her two daughters. It always seemed to me like the oldest one was a big, big daddy's girl, and I think she'll ride with Barry till the bitter ends. It's the youngest daughter that was talking to Suzanne through text and telling her, like, Mom, it's okay to leave. And, she knew. And I think she's just going along because this is the family that she has left. And so it'll be interesting to see. I fully expect the daughters to stand behind their dad like they did last time. And quite frankly, if I thought my dad was a murderer, killed my mom, I would be afraid of him. I mean, who wouldn't be, you know? So we'll see. But if he's convicted, and I feel like it's gonna be a long time from now if this happens, but if he's convicted, maybe sometime in the distant future, we'll get to see what his daughters have to say. So that is the update on Suzanne Morphew's autopsy, and we'll see what happens next. So bye for now, guys. And I might be on later because I am having some Moscato. We haven't had any drinking on my streams in a while, but today I decided on some Moscato. So I might be on later, and we could just shoot the crap or whatever. So I'll see you guys later. Oh, wait. Let me just read this. This looks like a very interesting comment. Fanny's Dixie Normus. Okay. I think they have no choice but to charge him again. I agree. And I have hunted since I was 7. I'm about to be 40, and I've never seen or heard of anyone ever using any type of tranquilizer. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm reading from other hunters, that, it's illegal. They never see people do this. But again, murder is very illegal. And in my opinion, Barry Morphew has committed it. So I don't think there's anything off the table for this guy. And he's crooked, you know? You have a lot to share with me, Jim. Well, call me. I mean, you know my number. It hasn't changed. Um, and I was going to reach out to you, actually, with the Dylan stuff. And there's a couple things that I would speak to you about with that. So, but anyway, I will see you guys later. And for the 5th time, bye for now.